Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. The body of a black teenager from Indiana was found in Ohio after she ran away a month ago to meet with a man she met through online gaming.
There is breaking news as we come on the air today. The attorney for the man connected to the disappearance of an Indiana teen, Haley Busby, has confirmed within the last hour the young girl's remains have been found. 39-year-old Thomas Tyler was in court just hours ago. I am Tracy Townsend. We're glad that you are joining us, but we do want to warn you that some of the details we are about to share may be disturbing for some to hear. Thomas was in Franklin County Court and is accused of pandering sexually oriented material involving a minor and tampering with evidence. Indiana officials say Thomas was in the neighborhood where Busby went missing. 10 TV's Lacey Crisp was in court this morning where she talked with Tyler's attorney, and she's live outside the courthouse in downtown Columbus. Lacey.
Well, after court, Tyler Thomas's attorney, Sam Szymanski, confirmed to me that officials in Perry County have recovered what they believe to be Haley Busby's remains. Now, according to court documents, Thomas picked up Haley out of state on January 6th and brought her here to Ohio. Fishers, Indiana police said last night in a news conference that they believe Thomas killed the teen shortly after and that it happened in Hocking County. Now, within the past hour, we talked to the Hocking County Sheriff, who tells us they are still searching that Airbnb where Thomas stayed, looking for evidence. Now, when Columbus police searched Thomas's home here, according to court documents, they found images and videos of Haley in Columbus and on Thomas's computer and phone. He is facing pandering sexually oriented matter involving a minor and tampering charges. Szymanski explained after court that Thomas willingly turned himself in on Saturday and worked with the FBI and other law enforcement to locate Haley's remains.
The facts. There is a juvenile missing out of Indiana who was last known to be in the company of the defendant. A search warrant was executed at the defendant's home. Digital devices were seized and found to contain child sexual abuse material containing images of the juvenile.
At our client's insistence, we assisted law enforcement Saturday afternoon and later Sunday, and that goal has now been met of bringing complete closure, at least with respect to this stage of the investigation, for everybody involved, but most important, the family of Ms. Busby.
Are you saying she's been recovered?
I'm saying that, yes.
So Thomas is being held here on a $1.5 million bond. Szymanski said in court today that Thomas has no intention of paying that. Charges in Hocking County are expected. Reporting live, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.
Now, according to reports, 17-year-old Haley Busby, a resident of an Indianapolis suburb called Perry County and attended Southeastern High School, was an online gamer and wound up meeting a man, 39-year-old Tyler Thomas, on an online gaming platform. And as she met Tyler Thomas on this online gaming platform, they seemed to have formed a virtual relationship online. And as they formed this virtual relationship online, Haley Busby decided to meet Tyler Thomas in person and eventually wound up leaving her home voluntarily to meet this 39-year-old man on January 5th. And after meeting Tyler Thomas in real life and getting into his vehicle, this is where Tyler Thomas allegedly took Haley Busby to his home. And after he took her to his home, this is where court records say Tyler Thomas had made several sexually oriented videos and photos of this 17-year-old girl, either at his home or at one of these short-term rental places. And after making these types of videos, this is where Tyler Thomas allegedly then continued to participate in this relationship with Haley Busby but then looked to tell detectives that he basically dropped Haley Busby off on the side of a road in western Ohio, and eventually, after doing an investigation, this is where police determined that not to be true. And as this investigation was going on, Haley Busby was classified by the police as a runaway by her parents, and that case was eventually upgraded to an endangered missing juvenile on January 20th. Now, after doing their investigation, they eventually took Tyler Thomas into custody and eventually found that sexually oriented material of this 17-year-old on his phone that he had tried to delete. However, they were able to find that explicit videos in the cache of that phone, and eventually this is what led to them looking to charge Tyler Thomas for making this explicit material of a minor and looking to tamper with evidence as related to making that sexually oriented material of a minor. Now, they have not charged Tyler Thomas with the murder of Haley Busby. However, the evidence basically possibly leads to people thinking he might have had something to do with it, but they're charging him in connection with her disappearance, and that's what they're holding him on as related to holding him into custody. Now, the FBI and the police are seeing this as an isolated incident. However, when I take a critical examination of this entire situation with Tyler Thomas, it definitely fits the pattern and profile of the behavior of cyber simps that I talk about in depth in my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. And when it comes down to many young girls who do participate in online gaming, they are not aware of the clear and present danger of interacting with individuals online who definitely know better, but are looking for someone to prey on and looking for someone to exploit. And that's what Tyler Thomas was looking, I believe, to do. In the case of Haley Busby, he was looking to go out here and look to prey on this 17-year-old girl and look to exploit her sexually, because any 39-year-old man who is of a sound mind is not going to be on online gaming, and they're not going to be interested in getting involved with a 17-year-old girl, because they know that a 17-year-old girl is a minor, and with that girl being a minor, they know that any sort of involvement with that girl can lead to criminal charges. That's what a rational thinking man would understand. However, when it comes down to a lot of these individuals online who are predators, what they do is use the anonymity of the internet in an effort to cover up their quest to look to prey on those young or out here and look to participate in their sexual deviancy, because this is sexual deviancy that this man was looking to participate in, because he was not looking for a relationship with a normal woman. No, he was looking to get involved with a teenage girl so that he could be in a relationship where he could have power and control over that girl, and that's why he was possibly loitering in these online gaming spaces looking for someone to prey on. Because again, normal men who are out here, basically when they are out here, they're looking for women their own age or maybe a little younger, and if they see that a girl is a underage minor, the first thing that they're going to do is, if they do meet someone like this online, is immediately take that girl to the nearest local police precinct, or they're going to flag down a police car and let these officers know this is an underage minor, and let the police then take that underage minor right back to their parents. But that's not what Tyler Thomas did in this situation. No, what this predator did was take this girl who was 17 years old to his home, take her to his home, or take her to this online rent or this local rental place that was short term, and look to go out here and sexually exploit this young girl as related to making a series of videos and pictures of this girl. And after making these pictures of this girl and these videos, he thought he could go out here and have that as a way to get his pleasure, because he got his pleasure not from having a healthy relationship with a woman, but from having power over an underage individual and looking to manipulate them into participating in behaviors as related to creating sexual content. And that's what makes these type of guys dangerous. Again, they basically lurk on these online gaming spaces, and they lurk there looking for children to take advantage of, because we have to understand this is a 17-year-old, and again, a 17-year-old is a child, and this man basically took advantage of this child's naivete, and basically, as he took advantage of this child's naivete, he looked to go out, and again, I'll repeat it once more, because I want you to understand what this cyber simp was doing, was looking to, again, exploit this girl, and go out here and take advantage of her as related to this situation. And that's what makes, again, being on these online spaces extremely dangerous. And this is something many kids don't understand. They really don't understand, because they're growing up in an age of the internet, not like us Gen Xers, where we grew up seeing kids basically being who disappear, winding up on milk cartons. Many of us Gen Xers know how dangerous that era was as related to talking to strangers. Unfortunately, when it comes down to a lot of teens here in this era, they basically think that talking to strangers is perfectly fine, but when it comes to a lot of those strangers online, like the strangers of the 1980s, a lot of these people don't have good intentions. They go out here pretending to be friendly, but they're really looking for someone to go out here and look to take advantage of, and look to go out here and look to see not as a person, but as an object, so that they can go out here and participate in their deviant sexual fantasies. And then after they participate in their deviant sexual fantasies, what they do is, in some cases, go out here and look to take the life of that individual, so no one will know about their deviancy, and then go back to their regular life, and have a smooth world where they don't have to deal with the problems, conflicts, or obstacles as related to the deviancy they wound up participating in. And that's what happens here when you have a grown man like a Tyler Thomas, who is alleged to have participated in this behavior. Again, here's a 39-year-old man who definitely was of legal age, who knew better. And again, as I said before, if he saw this young minor, could have easily gone and flagged down a police car after she looked to meet with him, or took her to the local precinct and let them know, hey, this girl was talking to me online. I thought she was of legal age, but this child is a minor, and with this child being a minor, I want to make sure that this child is in protective custody where she can be safe. That's what a person does when they really form a relationship with someone that they truly care about. When people truly care about people, what they do is look out for their best interests. But sadly, when it comes down to a lot of kids who basically are online, they don't understand that many of the people who are online are not looking out for their best interests. No, a lot of people who are online, again, I'll repeat it once more, use the anonymity of the internet so they can have a cover, so they can be able to prey on people. And sadly, that's what happened to this young black girl. What happened to this young black girl, or biracial girl, is she wound up losing her life because she got involved with a man online, who basically took her out of her home to his home. And if he is to be believed, and I don't believe him, this guy basically, again, either left this girl on the road, or she wound up dying in a location, again, where her life was put in danger. And again, put in danger because she didn't know the dangers of the internet, and didn't understand that when it comes to people online, a lot of people, what they do is create online personas that basically mask who they are. And as they create those online personas that mask who they are, people don't see the clear and present danger that they're in. No, they basically buy into the charms that these people place as related to the online persona they have online, and that masks the person who they really are, a person who is really depraved, sick, and twisted, because again, a 39-year-old man who is online and again getting involved with teenagers, there's something really wrong with that type of dude, and there's something wrong with him because again, healthy men, yeah, we like to play games, and we do play games online, but we set a boundary for ourselves, as related to people, and we also have ethics as related to people. And when it comes down to a man of character, when he sees a child in front of him, and when I look at teenagers, I still see children. I mean, you can have 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. Again, that's a child in my eyes, because this child cannot go out here and make rational decisions, even if they're 18 years old and legal. A lot of these kids really, they don't have enough understanding about anything in the world. No, they don't have any understanding about life, and that's why we have to look out for those children. And again, a man who has character is going to look out for that child. But when it comes down to predators like this, again, they're looking for someone to prey on. And this guy, he's thinking he's going to possibly get away with murder. That's what I'm thinking is in this case, because I think he did do something to this girl. And as related to things, because I know how these predators operate. When it comes down to these predators, again, from what I've done in my research of books like The Man Crisis and Stop Simping in Cyberspace, what these guys do is they want to have a smooth world where they go out here and again create the personality online, the anonymity of the internet. Then they meet with people online, and then they participate in their deviancy. And after they participate in their deviancy, they look to cover it up and act like nothing has happened. And that's where they leave a trail of bodies as related to their whole situation. And the whole thing is, I'm thinking that this guy's got some white privilege as related to that case, where this white man, what he wants to do and what the criminal justice system wants to do is give him cover. And that's what's really scary about this whole situation. This white guy basically is getting some cover as related to his crimes. And this type of guy, basically, again, you gotta watch out for online as related to your kids. You really gotta watch out for this type of guy. But hopefully what will happen in this case, if this guy did go out here and again participate in this inappropriate material, is stuff is going to happen to him when they get him in the criminal justice system. I mean, when they get him in that county jail and eventually get him on these charges and possibly convict him, what's going to happen to this dude is he's going to wind up getting exploited by Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles, as they wind up possibly going out here bending this dude over and filling him up with carbon rods as they spit roast him inside of the cell, and do this as they trade him back and forth for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, Keef coffee, Taster's Choice coffee, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand grape drink, off-brand kiwi strawberry drink, off-brand cranberry juice, off-brand orange juice, off-brand apple juice, milk, and off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, beef jerky with cheese, beef jerky with mozzarella cheese, beef jerky with Monterey Jack cheese, beef summer sausage, packages of Velveeta cheese, nacho chips, Fritos chips, Hunt snack pack puddings, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, packages of soy sauce, packages of honey mustard, packages of vanilla wafers, and all sorts of items of the commissary. That's where this guy will meet the justice of the inmates inside of the penitentiary, and will get everything he deserves, as he's basically again spit roasted by the dudes in the jail, and eventually will get the ultimate humiliation as Mr. Sprinkles comes in and sprays the front side with that sauce, glazing his face, and then glazes his backside and calls all the guys from Cell Block D to check out this guy's backside as he splits the cheeks open and shows this dude's backside looking like the inner ring of a Louisiana crunch cake. And that's where this guy will get what he deserves for exploiting this black girl. And when it comes down to black girls, I just really get disgusted by these type of stories and saddened by them. I get saddened by them because when I think about what happened here to Haley Busby, it takes me back to what happened to Dakara Thompson. I mean, Dakara Thompson, just like Haley Busby, basically met with one of these illegal immigrants and thought she could go out here and have a relationship with that guy, and that guy didn't see her as a person, but just as an object that he could go out here and fulfill his sexual deviancy with, and after he got his jollies, basically threw her body over a railing like it was just garbage. And what's really sad is that Haley Busby looks like she died in the same way, where this deviant basically went out here, this demon went out here, and again, looked to exploit this teenage girl, and then looked to go back to his life like business as usual, because in the eyes of these types of men, they don't see black women as human beings. No, don't see a black woman as a human being, similar to the way many of the racists in the days of slavery didn't see black women as human beings and looked to abuse and exploit their bodies. That's what was really disturbing here. Again, this young black biracial woman basically was exploited by this white man who acted no different than white men during the era of slavery. During the era of slavery, white men would act the same way, not seeing a black girl as a human being. No, they just saw a black woman as someone they could go out here and participate in their disturbing sexual fetishes, because they felt like they couldn't do this to a white woman because a white woman was a person, but a black woman was someone they didn't consider to be a person. And when I look at this case, and I look at the case of Dakara Thompson, and I look at the case of another young black woman whose body was found inside of the wall of another white man's home, I mean, I see a pattern here that's really disturbing as related to these white men and how they have little regard for the lives of black girls. And it really is sad because many black girls, they get spellbound and caught up in these types of white men. And as they get caught up in the attention they're getting from these white men, they can't see how these white men don't see them in the same way. They don't see how they see them in the same way. They see a white woman and they see them as someone that's completely disposable, like garbage, that they can again use like a rag or a piece of toilet paper. And that's the scary part, that you see a human being like nothing like that. That's what just absolutely disgusts me about these types of stories. And sadly, nobody's teaching these young black girls to look out for themselves. No, they're not teaching them about the dangers of men online, because these are some of the most dangerous predators who are when you go online, whether it be at these online gaming platforms, online dating, or in any sort of space. If you don't have your head on straight, what you're going to do is run into these type of people, because usually in most cases, the only guys who are online are guys who are predators, because these people don't know how to interact with men and women socially. They're socially awkward. They don't know how to function, and they need the anonymity of the internet in order to be able to form relationships, because they can't form relationships with regular people because they don't know how to do this. And again, some of them, they're just really twisted on the inside. That's why they're online, because again, healthy, normal people meet people in regular places, and they meet people like a 17-year-old girl goes and meets a guy in high school. She doesn't deal with, again, grown men. And any grown man, again, when he sees a child, he sees a 17-year-old as a child who needs to be protected. But these type of guys don't see that. And again, this is the dangers of going online, whether it be gaming or any of these platforms. And that's why I wrote Stop Simping in Cyberspace, because I want you to identify these type of predators so that you can avoid them. But when people go online, like they go to these online platforms, there's a clear and present danger, because these weirdos hang out in these spaces, and they hang out in these spaces not looking to form friendly relationships, because people in real life have friends in the real world. But when they go out here and look to have friends online, these guys are not looking for friends. They're looking for people to take advantage of. And you got to be careful on these online platforms. You got to be really careful on these online platforms, because, again, these guys are a clear and present danger and a threat to every girl out here. And that's why you got to look out for your daughters if you're a father, and basically limit who they involve themselves with online, because this type of tragedy can happen to anyone who isn't aware of the clear and present danger from these predators online, because these predators are not just male, they're female as well. And you have to understand, if people are online, it's because they've got serious issues. And the whole thing is, you don't really want to meet people who you meet online in real life, because chances are a lot of these folks got issues, and these issues are severe as related to their behavior. And these are people who really you gotta watch out for, because they basically have sinister intentions, and you gotta watch out for for these type of folks. And again, the best thing to do is, when you're online, understand that this is a place where you're dealing with predators, and that way you can watch out for yourself so that you don't wind up prey of this type of deviant individual. Now, if you want to learn to identify the behavior of a cyber simp and other online predators, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in Cyberspace at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to learn more about the mindset of these type of beta male predators and why these men are a clear and present danger, you can also pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis of all the other online booksellers I mentioned previously. And if you want to see me make more videos about cyber simps and the dangers of online situations, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.